In the top left corner, the red Protoss, BeanMachine! And in the bottom right corner, the blue Terran, OntheAtack! And OntheAtack here. We all know he lost in the finals last season against Shaky. He's since rebounded. He's 1-0 since then. Contained his last opponent in a TVT matchup. And as for BeanMachine, we don't really know much about him. We know he's a Platinum 2 Protoss. Approximately the same MMR as OntheAtack. So this should be an even matchup. Interesting to get some more ZvP on the channel. It's been a little bit. It's been since the finals. Probe coming out here for BeanMachine. Slugging it out with this SCV. The SCV's chasing it down. Now it's going to plant a supply depot. The probe could force a trade with this SCV. Instead, it's attacking the supply depot and then runs out. Another SCV being pulled for OntheAtack. He gets the kill. Highly unconventional, but he got the kill. To pull that many SCVs for just one probe, but worked out for him. BeanMachine may be mentally defeated here. Calls GG. Or just a joke. Says he's faster. Says that ATAC is faster than him. But ATAC is actually a pretty methodical player. We can see here on the first-person camera that his APM is very methodical. He's not a button spammer, so if ATAC is faster than you, maybe you got some problems.
Command center upgrade complete.
But of course, mind games are very popular in competitive Starcraft. Now comes the Nexus for BeanMachine. The 212 mark. A little bit later than OntheAtack, so ATAC's got an advantage in the expansion timing. Factory behind for OntheAtack as usual. Warp Gate being chronoed out for the red Protoss. Both players just kind of setting up for some two-base play. At least. We'll see when the thirds get taken, but for now, there's no real early rush or aggro build going down. Another Rax comes behind. It's the second Rax for OntheAtack. And he really does prefer just pumping Marines out of his first Rax. No add-ons. Usually. BeanMachine now. Sending a Stalker across the map. He's trying to get some information. Showing some good scouting fundamentals. He needs to check and see if OntheAtack actually has that expansion up and running now. It's going to make a huge difference. Scouts the CC, gets a shot in on a Marine, and gets the hell out of there. So pretty slick move from BeanMachine. He got the intel he needed, didn't lose the unit. So pile on down at his expo. A lot of the time, Platinum players or lower level players may forget to scout, and they just kind of turtle up in their corner of the map because they're so focused on their macro or whatever. Just playing the basics of the game. They forget to have any presence on the map. So BeanMachine showing early that he's aware of what he needs to scout. And he'll get out on the map and do it. And now he's sending 4 more Stalkers across. Behind it, he's got a Robo coming. He's got a Twilight coming. So he's teching up. Moving out with these 4 Stalkers. And meanwhile, ATAC has an eBay for upgrades he just planted. Stim is on the way. He's going to Raven, actually, which is kind of interesting. See how that works out for him. Stalker's now trying to get underneath the bunker into this mineral line. Focuses down one SCV. But the Marines here are cornering off the Stalkers, and a recall is forced because there's a tank up north too. And that was not a great trade for the Protoss. 1 Stalker for 1 Marine. Not really worth it. Excuse me, 1 Stalker for 1 SCV. Not really worth it. Another gateway coming up for BeanMachine. But don't get it twisted. It's just been a little bit of jousting so far. OntheAtack momentarily supply capped at 52. But he does have the supply advantage against the Protoss player. So I'll give him the slight advantage in this game so far. And OntheAtack, is he overreacting here? He's building a second bunker, actually. Thinking maybe he'll just get Stalker all in or something like that because of how many Stalkers it peaked in so far. But instead, the third Nexus is coming down at an earlier time for BeanMachine. So is that a way he can get back in this game? The margins are still pretty close. It's very early. Third CC does go down for OntheAtack. But he had the lead with the natural expansion timing. Now, BeanMachine has a slight lead with the third timing. OntheAtack moving out onto the map. Getting concussive shells now. I believe he has stim. So he thinks he's got a timing here. And BeanMachine was just talking some smack in the chat before saying how easy this map is to defend for Terrans. But maybe that was just mind games because he went out with the Stalkers. He picks off a Marauder here. So OntheAtack should know something's behind him. But OntheAtack is still going forward. He's meeting up with his Raven. And these tanks really need to siege up. They're not sieged up. The Marines are not defending them. One tank goes down. Now an engagement starts and the Stalkers back out. One tank was saved. And this Nexus, oh my god, it was cancelled, really. I feel like with this Stalker count, whatever reinforcements that may be coming, that reinforcement advantage, maybe he could have held it. But instead, the siege tank that was saved takes down the pylon here. And we see that this Stalker force is paying for backing up. They blink in, get a siege tank, blink out. Or sorry, they walked in and blinked out. They took down the siege tank, but there's still this bio force here that's going to town in the natural expansion. The Stalkers now coming in. They have a free Raven to kill, but they jump on the bio. How's this fight going to go? The Stalkers are really getting beaten up by the bio. A couple more Stalkers warp in. That was critical in the defense. And now this Raven is being focused down. The Raven then gets taken out at least. So that's good for the Protoss player. ATAC needed to be quicker pulling his Raven back after he lost the front. But now a reinforcing tank catches BeanMachine going too far forward. And ATAC is jumping on these wounded Stalkers. Takes out two Stalkers. This third Stalker is really wounded. GG is called from BeanMachine. OntheAtack does have his third CC completed. No such case for BeanMachine. BeanMachine seems mentally defeated. Knows he's backed up into a corner, and if we look at the supply, the gap is definitely widened. 84 now to 51. I just don't know about this Stalker play. Another Observer comes out, but I would like to see an Immortal actually come out to deal with these Marauders and tanks that ATAC is using to get good trades. Or maybe a Colossus for the Marines. There's no Robotech. It's just a Blink Stalker army. To be honest, hasn't worked out so great against this bio tank. The Vikings get taken out, though. ATAC's got to get better at pulling those wounded Vikings back. But he is just sieging these batteries. And the Stalkers walk in, take some tank shots. Could have been healed by the battery, but then walk out. Walks in again to a tank shot, then walks out. And OntheAtack's putting the pressure on. He's depowering this gateway for the second time in this game. The Stalker's coming back down again. Takes a couple tank shots and then blinks out. And I don't know about that. I mean, like, I understand that there's not too many Stalkers to deal with this army. But blinking into tank range and then walking out continuously while you get no DPS off is just not a recipe for success. If you're going to commit, get the numbers and commit and take an engagement. And if you're not, then get the hell out of there. There's a lot of wiggling from the Protoss player. This Nexus is being threatened. The chokehold has been applied by OntheAtack. And BeanMachine is on the defensive, rendered defensive. He's going down the ramp. He's going in now. He's making his move. Takes down a tank, takes down a second tank, but this bio is going to town on the Stalkers. Zealots now, slicing the Marines, but the bio is left over. And I think BeanMachine has been broken. He only has a couple of Stalkers back home. GG has been called. And BeanMachine has fallen victim to the OntheAtack stranglehold. And that was a hellacious victory for OntheAtack, rebounding in this game.